Starting a business can seem like a daunting task, unless you have a partner like Shopify. They have the tools you need to start and grow your business. From designing a website to marketing to selling and beyond, Shopify can help with everything you need. There's a reason millions of companies like Mattel, Heinz, and Allbirds continue to trust and use them. With Shopify on your side, turn your big business idea into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Welcome to
Only Murders in the Building,
the official podcast.
Join me, Michael Cyril Creighton, as we go behind the scenes with some of the amazing actors, writers, and crew from season 5.
The audience should never stop suspecting anything.
How can you not be funny crawling around on a coffin?
No, that's true.
Catch Only Murders in the Building official podcast, now streaming wherever you get your podcasts. And watch Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Welcome to Your Call, presented by the Headset app, the sideline communication tool built for football coaches. Today's guest is Keith Riggs, former head coach of Jenks High School in Oklahoma. Coach Riggs dives into one of the foundational concepts that shaped his program, building a big toolbox. He explains why success isn't about limiting options, but about teaching with clarity and simplicity so athletes can handle complexity and play fast. From defensive packages to teaching progressions, Coach Riggs shows how intentional teaching can unlock a team's full potential. Before we hear from Coach Riggs, let's hear from our partner, the Headset app.
The Headset app, a communication platform for coaches that makes sense. After all the technology we need is already in our pocket. No more time-consuming setup, lugging around cases, storing equipment, worrying about range, or finding the right location for your base station. The Headset app is an encrypted voice platform that is compatible with any Bluetooth headset or earbuds. The Headset app is a more secure, reliable, and easy-to-use communication system, delivered at just a fraction of the cost. Just open the app, put in your headphones, and go. At practice, on game day, or whenever. The Headset app. Download in the App Store or on Google Play today.
Here's Coach Keith Riggs on building a big toolbox.
Hello, my name is Keith Riggs. I'm the former head football coach at Jenks High School in Jenks, Oklahoma. And I'd like to visit with you for just a few minutes today about something that we've implemented here at Jenks that I think has been extremely beneficial for us over the years. And it's the concept of having a big toolbox. You know, if you think about a construction worker, handyman, they're going to need the right tool for the right project, right? You could use a hammer to take out a sidewalk, right? But it wouldn't be very efficient. It would take a long time. A sledgehammer would be much better. A jackhammer would be even better. The right tool for the right job. And we take that approach with our football team. And I'll probably talk a little more defensively than offensively. It applies both ways, but I grew up on the defensive side of the ball. This is something we've done for a long time. I think for a while we were doing it, but not really being intentional about it. And so it was hit and miss at times as to whether we were approaching it in the right standpoint. And what I mean by that is to have a big toolbox, to have as much in your playbook, if you will, as possible. You've got to teach it the right way. And we don't use the KISS principle. I think that term is maybe misunderstood at times. I've heard coaches say, you know, we're going to keep it simple and let our kids play fast. And when they say that, they mean, you know, we're not going to run very many fronts or coverages, or we're going to not have very many formations of plays. And to me, keep it simple is keep it simple how you teach it. So we actually use teach it simple instead of keep it simple. I think if you teach it simple to your kids, you can have a big toolbox and your kids can play fast. And just because I say a big toolbox, that doesn't mean you run, you know, every coverage out there. You could also, I listened to a coach one time that only ran cover 3 primarily and a little bit of man, right? But they had dozens of adjustments off their cover 3. So they had a pretty big toolbox, but they really only ran 2 coverages. So it can kind of go both ways. But when you get into the game, you want to give your kids the best chance for success. Having all the tools at our disposal, I think, gives us the best chance for success. And do we use all the tools every game? Certainly not, but we have them available. And I think the key is how we teach them and to make it easy for our kids. We keep it simple in how we teach it and how our kids learn it, not keeping our whole package simple, if you will, if that makes any sense at all. We want to challenge our kids to be the very best they can, to reach their highest potential. And I think this does this. If you think about maybe an education analogy, we have a very deep math curriculum here at Jenks. And we never get to have a student get to geometry, as an example, and say, man, you're really good at geometry. We're just going to stick with it your last 2 years of school, right? We push them on to the next step, eventually to AP calculus. And, for some of our students, maybe all the way to differential equations, right? We want them to reach our highest potential. And we want that same thing for our football team and our athletes. And so we're going to take them as far as we can take them. Some years that might be AP calculus. Some years that might be differential equations, but we're going to teach them as much as they can handle. And we feel like that gives us the best opportunity, like I said, on the field to have success against the teams we play. As I mentioned at the beginning, I think we've done this for a long time. We really got intentional about it 10 or so years ago, where we were really intentional about how we teach. And I think the key, again, keep the teaching simple, make it relatable. Have your foundation of what you teach, your core offense or defense, and then build on that. Make everything you build on it relatable. This is just like this, but this is just like this, except. And so what you end up doing is, from the learning standpoint, from the athlete standpoint, they don't feel like they're learning 25 coverages. Our DBs, from a coverage standpoint, if they can learn 4 to 5 key things, we can have a multitude of coverages off those. They don't need to know maybe that the corner doesn't need to know the corner on the other side is doing something different to him. He just needs to know, if I can get good at these 4 or 5 things, we'll be really good in our coverage on defense. So I think a good example for us, and again, when we really kind of got intentional about it, was with our zone blitz. And we had zone blitz for a number of years prior, but back in 2012, we basically deconstructed everything and just started with a blank sheet of paper. And because it was a good blitz for us, but then it was also sometimes a really good play for the offense when we ran it. So we broke down our zone blitz and we broke everything down. Every kid on our defense had to know 2 things. If I am to the blitz side, I do this. If I'm away from the blitz side, I do that. And in doing that, we were able to be very successful with our zone blitz. We could bring it different guys, different situations, field, boundary, to the back, away from the back, to the formation, away from the formation, to the tight end, to the front string. All those different things that made it look a little bit different, made it look like a different blitz, but it was for our kids. It was very simple. If I'm to the blitz, I do this. If I'm away from the blitz, I do that. And we were very successful. Our success rate, our productivity on our zone blitz increased tremendously when we took that approach. We made it very simple for our kids, but in reality, whether they knew it or not, it was a very complex blitz and there were a lot of moving parts to it. So I think that's just one example of how it has helped us. Again, I think the key is making things relatable. As you teach things, make it relatable. I feel like our coordinators do a really good job of that in their teaching progression. And in doing that, you can take little steps at a time to build on whatever package you have now and increase it so that when you do get into a game, you have the tools you need. When you need to make an adjustments in the game, you have the tools you need. And it's nothing new for the kids. They've seen it, they've done it, they know how it works, and they can still play fast and they can still execute at a high level.
That was Coach Keith Riggs on Your Call, presented by the Headset app. The Headset app helps coaches eliminate miscommunication, streamline sideline operations, and stay connected when it matters most on game night. And it does it all at a fraction of the cost of traditional headsets. Learn more at theheadsetapp.com. Thanks for joining us on Your Call. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss these conversations with coaches who are reshaping the game.